Right now, I am in the middle of shipping out and getting feedback on the Tinybelt Beta kits. So the Tinybelt is a conveyor belt 3D printer that I plan to launch on Kickstarter. And the goal of the project is to become the Ender 3 of conveyor belt 3D printers, something that is affordable, open source, upgradable, that people can buy and get their foot in the door for a fully automated 3D printing experience instead of having to constantly babysit and scrape parts off of their build tray. As a part of the feedback collection process, I want to do quick Zoom calls with as many beta testers, want to do them as I can, and record those sessions so that you can hear firsthand from them what they like and what they think should be improved about the Tinybelt betas. This first feedback session was with Steve. He got Tinybelt beta number 5, and is one of the very first people, other than myself, to get his machine up and running and tuned to the point where he's happy with it. So I hope you enjoy the conversation. So could you just start by kind of introducing yourself and talking about kind of how you got started in 3D printing and your
Yep.
experience level?
Yeah. Steve Long. I started about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
Guy I work with is into it. And then I went and bought an Ender 3 Pro at Micro Center. And it's been a year and a half and I'm up to 6 printers.
Oh my gosh.
So I just finished this. And I'm in the process now of fine tuning my RatRig V-Core 3 400 I just built. Trying to dial that in. But yeah, I have an Ender 3 Pro, Ender 5 Plus, both been heavily modified. Prusa Mark III, it's got the Bear upgrade kit and Bondtech on it. And then a Mini, Prusa Mini that has Bondtech stuff on it as well.
Okay.
So my ultimate goal is I've gotten pretty good at the Tinkercad. I've played around with Fusion 360 and FreeCAD. Eventually, I like to learn the CAD programs better and
Okay.
maybe get into designing something that there's a need for. Try to recoup a little bit of my money I've spent over the year and a half.
You have done a ton in a year and a half. I feel
It's
like most people go a little bit slower as they kind of get into
well,
the
it's
hobby.
very, and you see this a lot on all the Facebook groups and everything. It's like once you buy one, it's like very addictive. And
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but I'm like, all my stuff's down in my basement. This is out of my main print area because I ran
Okay.
out of room. But yeah, I just that's between work. If I'm not doing work or something with the family, I'm doing 3D printing stuff, up till 2 o'clock in the morning or whatever. It's just, yeah, it's very addictive and I enjoy it a lot. And the tinkering part is probably the part I enjoy the most about it, is
Yeah.
the modding and, designing, some different parts, playing around with stuff in the Tinkercad and just, improving stuff. But yeah, no, it's yeah, a lot done in a year and a half with the 3D printing.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's funny. I totally agree with you. You get one printer, and then pretty much as soon as I got my first printer up and running well, where I was happy with the quality, I was like, man, I need to get another one. I think that's
oh
something
yeah,
a lot of people can relate to, where they start to run out of room for adding more printers.
yeah. I probably need to stop right here because my wife's probably gonna kill me if I get another one.
I think a lot of us have that problem, or that challenge, if you will. Before getting into 3D printing, um, do you have an engineering background? Did you used to like make RC cars, or did you just kind of get into it because your friend had one?
Just got into it because this guy at works was doing it, and then I'm like, yeah, let me just check this out, and went and bought that Ender 3 Pro, and that was that. Yeah, past that, um, I work on medical X-ray equipment for work, so I got mechanical and computer background as far as that goes. But yeah, anything past that, it was just got it and got into it. Yeah, nothing really led me into it except him doing it. So
Awesome.
But
Yeah. If
yeah,
you
yeah,
if you're doing repairs on industrial equipment, like you're working with your hands all the time, I can totally see how
oh
that
yeah,
would
yeah,
translate into a 3D printing
yep,
hobby really well.
yep, definitely, definitely. But yeah, yeah. So
So I know you sent a whole bunch of notes and pictures and
mhm,
stuff of kind of what you did and your experience. But I
yeah,
want to start with kind of your top three things that you like about the tiny belt that you put together.
yeah. I like the, you know, I've always kind of wanted to get the belt printer, just for like I know this is only once a year, the Toys for Tots, but past that, I'll play around with some other stuff. But yeah, the continuous print feature, the Infinite Z. I've done about 21 hours of printing, like I'm doing right now with Pet G, no failures.
Okay.
The Infinite Z, I've only just done a little test print to where it's come off the bed there. I haven't done any like 10-foot sword or anything yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, the compact design is nice. Doesn't take up a lot of room. It's relatively simple design. Um, and the fact that it's based off the Ender 3, there's a lot of room for mods and stuff you can do too, which I've already done some. Um, but yeah, yeah, and the print quality, after spending some time tuning it, I'm pleasantly surprised how good it is. I mean, it's come out really well. I'm still playing with the slicer a little bit. Um, with the settings on it, but I think I got it dialed in pretty good. Yeah, yeah, a final product. I'm happy with the results of what I got.
Good.
But,
Good. I think um being based kind of on Ender 3 style hardware was always a goal for me.
uh-huh.
Just because um, it creates a product with a price point that pretty much most people can afford it. It's
Yeah,
in the
yeah, that's the
ballpark of
other
a
thing. Yeah,
PlayStation or something.
yeah, yeah.
And then you can grow with it from there and do
Yep,
modifications.
yep, exactly, exactly. And I'm kind of an impatient person, so I pretty much did most of those already that I
Yeah.
wanted to do. So, but yeah, yeah, no, that's yeah. At the point, I think I finally posted up on the Discord this morning that I think I'm at the end of the build here. I think I got everything exactly the way I want it and everything tuned. So yeah,
I
yeah.
almost don't believe that. There's always one more thing you can change or tweak or modify.
Yeah, you're probably right. Maybe down the road, but yeah, I was doing some stuff last night, some reworking of the wiring and stuff. So I think right now I'm at a good spot. So yeah, you're right though. It might be something else down the road.
When
I
you
don't know if you could put direct drive on this or not. I don't know if it's even necessary. I got the micro Swiss hot end on it right now, and that seems to be doing a good job. So,
nice.
but
Um, when you were kind of building the printer and starting to print your first couple models,
uh-huh.
what was that learning curve like for transitioning from normal printing to angled belt printing? And did you look at any resources to like speed up your learning process?
I watched that one video you had about angling at 45-degree angles. So I started to get to where I'd slice something and do the preview and
Okay.
look at it to see how it was going to start. If it was going to be kind of in no man's land and just going to fall down, if it needed supports or anything. Yeah, because I had no clue from before. But yeah, it was pretty much that one video you had out about orientations and whatnot.
Okay. Was
Was
it the
what I
one
looked at.
with the example models where I actually looked at all the tool paths?
I think so. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep. So yeah. Um, Past that, it was just a lot of tweaking and fine tuning and this, that, and the other, just to get everything right where I wanted it.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, so I gave profiles for PLA and PETG so
uh-huh.
far. I'm guessing you use those as a starting point. Are there any
Yeah.
like specific settings that you changed that
I
you think made a big jump in print quality?
I just played around temperatures basically
Okay.
and infills. Yeah, nothing past that. And it seemed to be fine. So yeah, they seem to be working okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Just the way they were. So
I find myself sometimes between different brands of filament or different colors of filament.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes on every one of my printers, I need to make some fine adjustments
Yep.
if
Oh
things
yeah.
aren't coming out well.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Every one is different. I have real good luck with the inlet at Micro Center.
Okay,
Uh, yeah. Yeah. I never really have any major issues with the filament. Uh,
gotcha. I'm sadly like an hour from my closest micro center.
yep.
Um, and
You got
I
Cincinnati or Columbus there. Yeah.
yeah, so I'm kind of in between two of them, which is sad. I'd love
You just
to
need to make a run.
yeah, I'd love to pick up some more Raspberry Pis for Octoprint. Um,
If you can find them, they're
yeah,
hard to find right now.
they
I
are.
got a 3B plus for this. I got it from, I think it was the Pie Shop or something. Yeah, you can't find them right now. They're
Yeah,
hard to find.
chip
I think it,
shortage.
yep, definitely. So, um, but yeah,
Have you only been using PETG on the Tiny Belt for printing, or have you done PLA, a couple other filaments?
I started out with the PLA and then I just wanted to try the PET G. So yeah, yep. Yeah, it was probably one of the hardest things to do was get a good first layer.
Okay,
Um, Figure that out, get that end stop switch just positioned just right, and then I raised the bed up with the adjusters on the springs to get that perfect first layer. But yeah, once I got that dialed in, because it wasn't getting a good first layer and it was coming up. Plus, I'm using Magic Goo
okay,
on the belt too on every print. So, but
gotcha. And
yeah,
have you found that that helps a lot?
oh yeah, yeah, definitely,
Okay, that's not a
definitely.
product I've used before, so I had to ask.
Oh no, that's good. I use it. I got just a general one I use, and then I also have the one for nylon, and yeah, their product's really good. Yeah,
Okay.
I had good success with it. So, um, but yeah, yeah,
And then in terms of things that you want to see improved with the kit itself, is there any like top two or three things that come to mind?
yeah. There's a few things, and they're not. I don't think like I was thinking about this because I know you have a cost factor
Yeah.
involved. You want to keep it low. So I picked out things that I think could be, done at a reasonable, money value.
Okay.
One thing I did notice, like on the belt tensioners, um, and I changed them out to the self-adjusting ones, but I think if you could even just do a metal plate or
Okay.
something, because there was some flex on it
Hmm.
on tightening a belt up. I think that would be a huge help. And then the printed spacers, I don't know if you could source like aluminum spacers or the nylon spacers for everything.
Okay.
Because I noticed especially on the hot end assembly, I had a little bit of a lean on it.
Okay.
I don't know if the spacer was digging in the eccentric nut or not, but I ended up using an eccentric nut off my Ender 3 I had left over. It's a little bit longer and a couple washers. It stiffened it up and it made it completely level.
Okay.
Um, I think if you could maybe source, nylon or aluminum spacers, even probably I don't know if you could just source like the metal bracket for the belt tensioner. Um, and then the other thing was, and I think Form Function 3D on the Discord suggested the yellow springs,
Okay.
and that gave a lot more range of adjustability and stiffness on adjusting the bed
Okay.
to get that belt, to lay flat. Past that, um, I don't know if you could, source like the 24-volt stuff over the 12-volt stuff, um, just for the time for heating up the bed. And I'm not, you've seen all that on the Discord and whatnot. But the
Yeah.
availability of parts for 24-volt is greater too. I don't know how much more that would be, just a straight swap out from going from 12 to 24. Um, but yeah, that's probably the main things. And I did
Okay.
that belt tensioner. I don't know if that's something you could, I know you can tension it without it, but having that on there made it nice to get it even on both sides.
Okay.
Because I'd have too much on one side, and you especially notice on the underside, one would be sagging a little bit more.
Hmm.
And that was just basically some 3D printed parts and a couple of the M5 rods. Um, so hardware wise, that wouldn't cost too much. But yeah, I think that's probably some of the main stuff, that I think might be doable for not too much cost factor.
Yeah,
So
that's all really solid feedback. Something like the yellow springs. That's
yeah,
super, super easy
yep,
to kind of swap out for, maybe a few cents more. Um,
yep,
something like the idler pulley mounts. That's something that's pretty easy. If I have
hmm
to order those in sheet metal, like they're so small that, you
yep.
know, it should work out really nicely.
Yeah,
And
and then the spacers, I don't know what aluminum spacers would be or the nylon spacers. I'm not sure what the cost would be on something like that, but I think that would definitely be something to look at as well. But yeah, past that, the stuff I've done is kind of like, upgrading Ender 3, put the micro Swiss on there, and they just came out with the not too long ago, the Bowden extruder
okay.
drive there, which is actually pretty nice, but that's all just, personal preference stuff there.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's a few things that might help out the situation there. Past that, it's just a lot of, fine tuning and tweaking and whatnot to get that belt flat and just get, everything dialed in. And that's just, I mean, that's any printer. I'm fighting my RatRig right now with bed leveling and getting everything square. And I'll probably spend, who knows, probably 2 or 3 days messing around with that the way it's going. So, but yeah, yeah, no, it's been good. So,
Awesome. And you got the box of parts edition
yep,
of the Tiny Belt. So you built it uh entirely from scratch,
yep.
which I think is very cool. And you did a bunch of modifications. Did you want to talk about some of those preference things that you did? I think it's totally like in line with my vision for this project to make something that's accessible and then upgradable
Oh
to
yeah, yeah.
kind of fine tune it. So what changes did you make?
Well, I put the micro Swiss hot end on
Okay.
because I did get the notorious clog, and that's just kind of what the Ender 3 hot end is. You get those from time to time, but
Yeah.
I already knew I was going to switch it out anyway.
Okay.
But that's an easy swap out, the micro Swiss hot end, and then I got their extruder. Um, the biggest thing I like about their extruder is just the accessibility to get the filament in and out. It comes with a thumb wheel on it,
Okay.
and it's just it's very easy to feed the filament in and use that thumb wheel to get it in and out. Um, I made the mod for the tensioner. Um, I was just basically used the back left bracket, modified it, and used it in the front.
Okay.
And then added a block in the front to hold the rod. Um, I did end up putting some longer rods on it. I had left over from my Prusa MK3.
Okay.
Um, Gosh, I forget what they were. I think they were 330 or 370. I can't remember. I'd have to measure them. But a little bit longer rod. It's coming out of the bearings there about 10 millimeters or so.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, past that, I did make a beefier Z motor bracket. I just made the base of it thicker.
Okay.
Um, and then I did remote install all my electronics, which I did on my Ender 3 too. So it's off the frame of the machine. That way, I like it because it gives you just more accessibility to everything.
Yeah.
Um, so my electronics is off to the side. My power supply is off to the side. It's basically how you modified a thing on thing reverse, and Form Function 3D supplied me with the front piece here on my mod here to use the 2.4 display that you supplied, because I was using my Ender 3 factory display.
Okay.
You posted up on Discord the STL for that, so I finished that this weekend. But yeah, I don't know if you can see my electronics there or not. Yeah, see, there
Oh,
it is.
there it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just my pie sticking on top there. That electronics box is just a Holly modified one off the Thingiverse, and then I
Okay.
have the display there, and then got a fan on it as well.
Awesome.
And my power supply is just sitting off in the back there. But yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's what to me that's what I like most about 3D printing is messing with stuff and changing stuff.
Yeah.
Like none of my printers, even my RatRig, I've already started doing some stuff to it. Nothing huge, just mostly printing stuff. But yeah, I don't like keeping anything stock. I got to do something to it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I got
yeah,
an Ender 3 a while ago and I had to like stop myself for like a full year from changing anything because I'm like this
oh yeah,
printer
yeah.
is just gonna be for like rough form fit prototypes and that's it. And
Uh-huh.
then I'll use some of my other machines for stronger stuff. But
Oh yeah.
eventually it got a new hot end and a new extruder and all that stuff. So
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. Both my unders have micro Swiss direct drives on them, and the 5 Plus has that exo slide on it. I mean, I probably got way too much money in both of them, but oh well.
So when you so you've mentioned micro Swiss a few times. That's
Yeah.
an upgrade that you've done a few times and you've been happy with.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I got the direct drives on both my Under 3 Pro and my Under 5 Plus,
Okay.
and then I put the hot end on here. Yeah, no, I've had great success with them. A lot of people say online, it gets clogs with PLA. I think a lot of that is if you don't do a good purge in between change and filament, I think is
Okay.
a lot of that. But yeah, I've had zero problems with them. They've been great. Um,
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, I used one of their hot ends on a monoprice printer years and
Uh-huh.
years ago. And I thought it was okay. Um, but really cool to hear that for kind of
Yeah.
the Ender 5, Ender 3, Ender 5 series. You've had a
Yep.
lot of luck. So uh,
Uh-oh.
oh no, it came off
Oh,
the belt.
it popped off on me. Whoops. Might not have had enough glue on there.
Yeah, that's the thing about belt printers in my experience is that um as amazing as it is for me to like be able to watch like 5, 10, 20 parts print one after another, it's
Yeah.
still a 3D printer and it still has a lot of the challenges that 3D printers have.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. A brim. How can you do a brim on a belt printer? Because I tried
I
to add it in that slicer program, but I turn it on, but it doesn't add one. So is that a possibility to add a brim on a 3D print to help hold it down?
What I do is I manually add brims.
Okay.
So what I'll do is I will put the model in Microsoft 3D Builder.
Uh-huh.
So if you're familiar with Tinkercad, you're gonna
Yep.
pick up 3D Builder instantly.
Okay.
So I'll put my model in there, and then I'll make a square or a rectangle that is zero
Hmm.
point 0.5 millimeters tall, and then I will
Okay.
put that at the front of the model.
Oh, okay.
So well, you could put it all across the whole base of the model, but I
Uh-huh.
find that getting a good first layer um, is a
Yeah.
lot more difficult um, in terms of adhesion um, than needing it across the whole model. Usually, if I get a couple good 2, 3 extrusions before the model starts,
Uh-huh.
and those stick well, then the rest of the model does well.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
that's what I would recommend.
All right. All right. Yeah, I think I got, yeah, that was, yeah, getting that first layer dialed in. Because it's not like, regular printer, you go hit the Z offset and the BL touch does its thing and all that, totally different. But yeah, I think I got the process down now. So, but yeah, yeah.
Good. Outside of toys for tots or just printing upgrades, what do
Mhm.
you find yourself using your printers for?
Well, my wife has a Etsy shop and she does custom nutcrackers.
Okay.
So I designed a box for her to put her nutcrackers in. It's just basically a sliding lid box, and then it has a couple spots in it for her store
Okay.
logo. She puts on there. That's mainly kind of what, and I'll do some other stuff like she needed a hat, like a witch's hat, just little stuff like that. I just did um, a helmet for like a horse riding helmet.
Okay.
I did that last night for one of her nutcrackers. So I'm just doing a lot of little stuff like that. Like I said, eventually, if I could find that that one thing somebody needs, and I could design it and open up my own Etsy store or something, and sell some stuff I make would be nice for take a little further there. But yeah, that's one thing I do a lot of is that. And I made something for my job too, for one of the X-ray rooms I work on.
Okay.
For in the room, there's a cart, and they wanted to use a mouse in there, so I designed basically a platform and then a little cubby to store the mouse in that goes on this monitor cart. So
Gotcha.
that was that was really cool. That was probably one of the neatest things and it was real simple design. But yeah, that was probably one of the coolest things I did because they were super happy with it. It was
Yeah,
just a wireless mouse hooked into the computer that's in the control area there. But yeah, that was yeah, I forgot about that. But yeah, just stuff like that.
that's
So,
awesome. My mom collects nutcrackers. Um,
uh-oh.
so I 3D printed her a nutcracker at one point while I was
Uh-huh.
still in school. So I designed the whole thing myself and
Oh,
made the
wow.
mouth actually
Nice.
moves. So that's very cool. I think Etsy and 3D printing have a really good uh,
Yeah.
synergy there. I know a lot of people print and sell stuff on Etsy, so that's very cool.
Oh yeah, there's tons of stuff on there. That's the thing, is just a lot of the same stuff. It's a lot of stuff's been saturated already. So
Yeah, yeah,
um
it's hard to find
yeah.
a niche
Yep.
in a lot of ways.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. Yep.
and
So
some of the things that make me the happiest with 3D printing nowadays are those like small, simple but super functional prints,
mhm.
like the
Yep.
mouse cart um,
Yeah.
that you described, something like a little hook or a holder
Yeah.
that just makes your life better. Are some of my favorite prints. So
Yeah. I just did one, what was it, yesterday? It was just a little washer spacer thing for my sister-in-law's curio cabinet. We moved her and we lost a couple of them. It's just a real small plastic spacer slash washer. And I just brought one back and knocked it out in 2 seconds, and printed a couple of replacements because we lost a couple during the move. So yeah, stuff like that's great. Done stuff for my car, car cell phone holders and stuff like that.
nice. So
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the curio cabinet, are those spacers something that you can't buy anymore?
I bet you probably couldn't find them because it's like a specialty cabinet. It's
Yeah.
for these side doors that open up. The pins just sit on it basically inside the wood. And I didn't even look to see if they're online. They may have been, but it was just basically, three parts in Tinkercad, and it was done.
Yeah,
But yeah, I
probably.
bet I probably couldn't find them probably, even if I looked. So
Yeah, but based on how you're describing it, you probably ended up with having parts in hand faster than it would have taken you to go to
oh,
the store and shop for them and buy 10
oh
of
yeah,
them.
oh yeah, yeah. It probably took me a whole 10 minutes to design it and another 10 minutes to print it or something. So yeah. Yeah, that's what's nice about 3D printing is doing stuff like that. Um, a lot of uses for that. A lot of stuff, little stuff I've done. So, but yeah,
Definitely. Um, I think that kind of covered all of my questions. So I guess
yeah,
if you
yeah.
have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them. Um, Otherwise, I appreciate you taking the time
Oh
to
yeah,
get
yeah,
on a Zoom call with me.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. First Zoom call success.
yeah, and I'm happy that that you're up and running. I think you
Yeah,
weren't the first person to receive your tiny belt, but I think you're the
number
first
five.
person to actually like get up and running and dialed in and printing parts constantly. So it's an achievement and it's exciting. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep, yep. Definitely, definitely. No, it's been fun. It's been fun, and I'll continue to play around with it and try to print some different stuff here. And yeah, it's all good. It's all good. So yeah, if you ever need anything, just let me know.
all right, I will.
Cool.
Thanks so much, Steve. Enjoy the rest of your
All right.
day.
All right. You too. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my chat with Steve about his Tiny Belt experience. And thank you again to Steve for taking the time to chat with me and allowing me to share his experience with all of you. If you are at all interested in the launch of the Tiny Belt, I will make sure to put a link in the description of this video where you can click to learn a little bit more about the project. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button before you leave to help the YouTube algorithm look favorably upon us. And if you want to stay up to date with all things conveyor belt 3D printing, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Thank you again for watching, and happy printing.